Hi everyone, this is Brett from Lightning Tools, and first of all, just want to welcome everybody to the webinar this afternoon. Yeah, we're going to be taking you through Lightning Tools Form Studio, and specifically, we're going to take a look at how to build a security incident reporting solution using the Form Studio, and that will allow us to build forms that support the ability to report a security incident, but also the ability to manage those incidents as well, using both form design and also workflow as well. And of course, the intention is to show you how to build out these solutions, but hopefully you'll be able to see how easily this can be built and then absorbed by people across your organization and across different sites within your department. So yeah, to get going, we're just going to do a very quick intro because we've got a lot to cover, and then we'll dive into just a few PowerPoint slides before diving in deep into the product demonstration this afternoon. Session is being recorded. Feel free to post any questions in the Q&A panel, and hopefully, if I don't respond to those, maybe one of my team members who are on the call as well will be able to. Yeah, any unanswered questions I'll be able to address at the end of the webinar as well. Okay, so yeah, first of all, just a quick intro. So my name is Brett Lonsdale. I'm a Microsoft MVP, specializing in Microsoft SharePoint, and I'm the founder of Lightning Tools, which was created back in 2007. So we've been developing products now over the last almost 18 years, and all of those products that we've been creating are designed specifically for Microsoft SharePoint, and really to help you to have a much more efficient SharePoint workplace, and also a more secure one as well. So in terms of what we're going to be covering today, so we're going to have a look first of all at the use case, which is, as I mentioned a moment ago, it's a security incident reporting tool. So anybody that's gone through sort of SOC 2 compliance audits or ISO 27001 audits and so on will probably be very aware that any security incidents such as lost device, stolen device, or somebody even leaving their machine unlocked, things like that, should typically be reported and then acted upon so that we can improve security going forward. So rather than sending emails or making telephone calls, information that is sort of recorded in inconsistent ways, what we've done is use Lightning Tools Form Studio as a method to be able to collect that data in a uniformed way, and to be able to apply some automation to it as well. But of course, that's not the only use case that you could use Lightning Tools Form Studio for. There's many different examples, such as expense reporting, generating purchase orders, anything that's kind of like a form-based solution. You'll be able to generate very quickly using the Lightning Tools Form Studio, and get that deployed across your organization as needed. So we're going to start off with that. We'll talk about some business pain points, so not just necessarily around security incident reporting, but really from a lack of tooling perspective, how or what tools are available to you first of all, and then we'll take a look at how the Lightning Tools Form Studio compares. Now, we've also got multiple products that fall into this category. So there's Lightning Tools Form Studio, but there's also the ability to use Lightning Forms as a contextual design tool. We'll discuss that. Also take a look at the list actions, how list actions can be used to apply automation at the list level. We'll also look at things like the document generator and how we can generate Word documents and PDF documents. So these are tools that are individually available, but also part and parcel of the Form Studio as well. And then also we've got the migrator, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Like I said, we'll discuss why a simple SharePoint list is not enough, and then we're going to have a live build session where you'll see the solution previewed, but then you're going to go and see how we can also use the Form Studio to build out the main solution. And we'll wrap up with packaging deployment. So one of the benefits of using Form Studio is you can take your design and all the assets for that design, you can create an SPFX package and then deploy that out to the different sites where you want to use that, and that can be across tenants as well if need be. Okay, and yeah, like I said, there should be time for a Q&A at the end as well. So in terms of today's example use case, I've kind of already laid the foundations of what we're going to cover, but yes, we're really looking for a uniformed way in order to be able to report and collect information about any information security incidents that may be occurring across our organization. And the design needs to be something that's very simple for users to report, but then have the automation behind it in order to be able to make sure that we're involving the right people to get those incidents investigated, get evidence collected, and close out those cases. So this is the form that we'll be designing. I'm going to go through that in a bit more detail as part of the demo, but yeah, just a screenshot really to give you a little bit of an idea as to what that's going to look like. And yeah, the idea here is that we're going to make it a very simple solution to be able to use, but also show you how we can design such a solution as well, without the sort of long build time, the learning curve, and the lack of deployment options, which are often the case with other tools available to M365. Okay, so the business pain points that we resolve with Lightning Tools Form Studio and somewhat also Lightning Forms, etc., is the fact that yeah, without some sort of uniformity to data collection, and without the automation as well, you tend to find that certain tasks get missed. In this case, we may not have the right evidence, such as screenshots and things like that, if they've been asked for after a verbal report or an email report, and therefore maybe compliance deadlines and things like that would get missed as well. But generally, not just about the security reporting, when we talk about building form solutions, full stop, we've also got the challenge where you may have somebody that's built a solution within one particular department, and that solution could be useful in other departments or other areas of the business as well. And we're talking about potentially different SharePoint sites or different teams. And of course, without that packaging and deployment option, that's going to be challenging. You often have to build things from scratch each time. So that's where we end up with inconsistencies, lack of scalability, and so on as well. Also, IT backlogs. If we have a need for a solution, whilst Power Apps and the Power Platform generally is designed to be a low-code solution, it's sometimes challenging to get across the line, get that 100% of the solution built. So often we're involving IT. IT has many things on its backlog, and therefore it's something that may be a low priority. So what we're doing here is designing something that's very intuitive to use. You can build out a solution either using Lightning Forms as a citizen developer tool, or you can use the Lightning Tools Forms solution as a quicker way to build solutions and get those deployed out to your user base. And yeah, again, in terms of most form solutions, what we're looking at obtaining is accurate records, the ability to audit the information that's been collected, and consistency throughout our processes as well. So a quick summary of the tools. We have Lightning Forms, which is a product that is standalone. It's deployed to SharePoint as a SharePoint framework solution, and that is something that site owners can use contextually within inside a SharePoint site in order to be able to build forms based on SharePoint lists. It's extremely powerful in terms of creating a form layout, adding logic to those forms as well. With a no-code environment, coding is optional, but most of the time you can achieve 100% of the forms using the no-code option, and you get the modern experience and everything you would expect with a SharePoint Online Form Design tool. We also have Lightning Tools Actions as well, which is a product that has a web part and also the ability to create command buttons inside of SharePoint list views. So those buttons can also apply automations across multiple selected items. If it's in a list view, you could do things like approving multiple items at any one time, or from a page, performing different actions from there, such as opening forms in certain panel sizes and things like that. And we've also got the document generator, which will work with either of those two, list actions or Lightning Forms, and that can be used to generate docx files or PDF files so that you can print those documents or those list items, or you can save them, share them, etc. So those products are standalone. Lightning Tools Form Studio incorporates all of that, but it's more of a central design tool. So you still have the SharePoint site that is your design site inside of your tenant. You're just using Lightning Tools Form Studio in order to be able to design out the forms. And then the output is a package that you can deploy to multiple sites. And that package, like I said, could be deployed across different sites, different tenants as well. So the whole package deployment is automated. The addition you also get is the ability to have scheduled and triggered actions. So unlike Lightning Forms and Lightning Tools actions, if we need things to be run periodically, then we can do that with Lightning Tools Form Studio. Or if an item gets updated or deleted, that can also trigger an action as well. And the final thing that you also get is back-end calculations, which we're going to be taking a look at too. And just as a side note, Form Migrator is something. So if you have legacy forms, if you're looking to have a platform for new modern experience versus classic forms, then we also have a form migrator that can migrate InfoPath forms, classic Nintex forms over to SharePoint Online, and that could include Power Apps or Lightning Forms or Lightning Tools Form Studio. And that's going to be a focus for next month. So we will have a webinar on that. We'll be able to see how we can migrate hundreds of thousands of forms in time for the deadline in June 2026. Okay, so in terms of Lightning Tools Form Studio, yeah, it's a centralized design environment. We can build out our solutions. There's a new addition of being able to deploy AI agents as well, and that's just the start of our AI journey. We can also build one-to-many type solutions using lists as the data repository, but really sort of replicating the type of scenario that you'd have inside a relational database with one-to-many type joins. And then we've got those triggered actions, those scheduled actions, and that deployment, which we'll be taking a look at. So that's enough of me waffling. We're going to jump into the demonstration. So we will have a look at building form with that modern experience, build out the one-to-many relationships. We're going to have things like cross-site lookups so that we can, again, collect the right data. We're going to add some automation and package and deploy this as well. Okay, so let's jump into our demo. And before we start looking at the design here, let's just go through the solution. So what you'll notice, so you know what we're going to build, this is the security incidents SharePoint list at the moment. It's sorted by multiple other lists. So you'll see that there's a department directory, which I'm going to use as my lookup. Typically, SharePoint lookup columns are only displaying a single column inside the dropdown. So we're going to make an enhanced lookup that can go across site, can also go to external data using Copilot connectors, but we're going to use it to apply filters and to give a multi-column lookup experience to the form. So we're looking at from this one. We've also got investigation tasks. So what we're going to do is generate tasks for the investigation team, so that they're not just having to go in and out of every single report. We can generate items inside another list using some automation. And then we've got the security incidents list as well, which also has two other lists. If I just jump into the site contents for a moment, you're going to see that I've got evidence items as well as another one, investigation, yeah, mentioned it, investigation tasks. So they're all the lists that are going to form part of this solution. Also inside my document library, we're going to utilize that as well. You'll notice that there's a number of folders that are going to get generated for each security incident. So the latest one is incident 9, and as we go into there, you can see that there's some folders. I've not manually created these. The solution has created those for me, along with an incident report in a document or a Word document, so that we can share that or print that as is necessary. Okay, so when we go and fill out the security incident form, we come in here, and again, the aim here is to have something that is intuitive, easy to fill out. So let's just say for a moment that I've lost a device, so I'm going to choose that option. It's going to be reported by me, but I'm just going to be a demo user for now. So I'll be demo user 5 in this scenario. And the department I work in is IT, and we can put in a severity level of this security incident. The location where I'm based, I'll put HQ, and a description of what's happened. So I'm going to say that I've lost my mobile phone, kids playing with it, etc. And so that's the description. And I'm going to say that data was involved as well as part of that. Now, based on the information that I've provided, what you'll notice here is the incident details. Because I've said that data was involved, it set the initial risk score to 10 and also highlighted that field, so it grabs my attention as well. We've also assigned an investigator based on the logic, so whether it's a lost device or whatever scenario that may have been down to, and we've also got the data set to new as well. So this was some calculations that were taking place as part of the form. And then under evidence and attachments, notice in here that I can also go through and add evidence as a sub item. So in this case, there is really no evidence. I haven't got a photo or a screenshot of it being lost. It's just lost. So let's just put that. Yeah, we'll just put other. So no evidence, but it was lost. Okay, and we can go through and save that, and that comes through here as a sub item on the form. All right, now the final part is we hit save and submit. So once I hit save and submit, this of course is going to save the record, but it's also going through and creating quite a few things in the background. We're generating the document. We've written a message to say that all of this has just taken place. I've just heard an email arrive. So if I just jump here into my email, you can see that there's a new security incident. I've lost my mobile phone, kids playing with it, etc., just as we wrote. And notice in here as well, I've also got the incident report from that document as well. So that has been routed through to me into my email. And if we also go through and take a look here inside the document library, you can see we've now got a new folder. If we navigate into that folder, you can see the folder structure, and the incident report is stored there. Now we can also see that when we go back into the security incidents, if we edit this particular item, notice how we've got this process control, so we can see that it's a new incident, and we've also got some additional pieces down here as well. So we can see things like the incident report embedded as part of the solution. We've still got the evidence and attachments, but we can also add things like a final summary and tasks and so on as well. And it's possible to security trim different parts of the form. So notice that the markers resolved is not available to me because I'm not a member of the relevant group that I need to be in for that button to be alive. Okay, so that's what we're gonna create, but let's just have a look at the design experience. So here inside of our incident reporting solution, you'll notice inside the dossier, which is the container, I've got a number of different forms. So these are the forms here. We've got the new form, the edit form, and the display form. These are also currently open as well, including the view that is making up my SharePoint list. And we can access that here as well under views, so that we can see the all items view. We can create additional views if we want to also. We've also got sub items. So these are the other lists that we've embedded on the. You'll see how we can do that. And then we've also got other supporting lists, which are not necessarily related, but this is where the department directory is coming in. So that department directory is the list that we're going to be looking up from, and forms part of that solution. And if we need to, we can customize those forms as well. We also have the ability to work with pages. So on those pages, we can add different web parts and so on as part of the solution. You'll see here that I've added some security incident tiles, giving me the ability to add some automation there too. And then below that, we've also got things like assets. We've got permissions that we can deploy as part of the solution. And as I mentioned earlier on, we've also got the SharePoint agents that we can also package and deploy along with the solution. So if we jump up to the new form, just give that a moment to load. In fact, what I'm going to do here is just click onto security instance and access it this way. So we're going to go to the new form, and what you'll see across here is I've got all the forms: the display form, the new form, the edit form, and also all items. And that just takes a small moment to load. We will then be able to get into the design experience and also go through and add some automation and things like that as well to the background of my form. So that's just going a little slowly, so I'm just going to give that a refresh. Not quite sure what's going on there. I did a lot of clicking around, so maybe I confused it. Okay, so if we go here into the forms, so there's our display form, our new form, etc. And a lot of the logic that we're going to be taking a look at is inside the new form. So in here, first of all, under form settings, you'll notice we can control the size of the form. We can make the forms full screen if we want to. You'll also notice that we've got actions. So on the command bar is our save and submit action, and this is where a lot of the logic is actually taking place. If I go in and edit that, we've got the display name, but then under configure actions, we've got all of these different actions that we can apply to a button. And under scope, notice how we've got our save form, so simply just saving it. We're setting field values, so this is where we're automatically creating the incident number for the form. We're saving it again since we've just updated a field, and this is where we're also generating the Word document. Now, the Word document looks a bit like this, and all it is a Word document with the columns within double square braces where you want to bring those values through. We can bring in all of the fields from the main form, but also loop through different sub items as well and create a table for any of the related items in there. So that's referencing the form, and we can upload that into the generate Word document action and then tell it what to do with it. So we're telling it to generate the document based on the current SharePoint list item, save that to a document library, and we're setting the folder name, which is actually using the title field. And notice how you've got the expression builder to get there, so we can get the incident title. So that will be set as a folder name, and then the file name within that folder is going to be also dynamically generated. So it's just going to read incident report -title, which again is the ID .docx. And if it already exists, we overwrite it. We're then creating the folders. So very straightforward. Again, we've made that dynamic, picking up the title, and then the subfolder in this case is evidence, and then saving the form, and then we're sending the email. So this is how that email got sent. We're sending it to me just so I could demo it easily. So that is a fixed value, but we could make that, of course, dynamic as well. And it's being sent from, I've left that blank, so it'll always send as the default or current user if that isn't specified. And then we've got the subject. So we've got a new security incident. We're embedding the description field. And then in here, we've also got the attachment. So since we dynamically created the document, we can dynamically get the path to that as well. So we've got the title being the folder name and then the file name so that that can be attached. Now we're going to try all of that. And if it's successful, we display the message to say that it is successful. And of course, if it fails, then we've got a different message that we can also display as well. So that's going to read as an error message. And then we're closing the form. So we're doing far more than what you would just typically do with the save button. We're adding that automation at that level through that command button. So that's our save and submit. And then inside the form itself, this is all rich text. It's inside a single column section. Down here, we've got just the form layout, and you can drag and drop those fields where you need them to be. And then this is a control, process control. So notice when I hit the plus, you can add all of the different fields onto your form that come from the underlying SharePoint list. But there's also things like data lookups, tabs, rich text, the file viewer that you saw, the process steps, and you've got things like dividers and spaces and things like that in order to be able to design your form as well. And all of these things just literally get added onto the form, set the properties, and you can shift them around to wherever you want those to appear. Okay, so that's the general layout. If we come down here, we've got tab controls. You're going to see me create that in a moment. Each tab can have different layouts of different fields. And what you'll also notice is we can control when each of these sections are available as well. So the evidence and attachments we always want available. But if we have a look here in the properties of the incident details tab, we're only displaying that if this form is a new form, if it's on a display form or an edit form. Not equal to a new form. So if it's a display form or an edit form, we will show it. We won't show it if it's a new form, and so on. Okay, so that's what we're going to take a look at building. So we're going to now hit under customize form. So as I do that, it's going to reset it to the default, and we can go through and now create that design on the new form. So when we first go into it, we're just going to customize it and say we want to use modern forms. So we'll just go through and apply that. It is possible to work with SharePoint on-prem as well, by the way, so it doesn't always have to be SharePoint Online. And what you can see in here is we've got what looks like the generic SharePoint form, and we can see what it looks like initially here. So this is currently just generic. Of course, there's no layout logic or anything, and that's going to be the state that we're currently in when we're using this form now that I've uncustomized it. All right, so what we'll do is first we'll just go through those actions. We'll go into the command bar. Notice the save button. This is the default save button, so we can configure the actions for that. And this is all it's doing. It's literally just saving, closing the form. So we want to do a bit more. So what we can do is add a scope control. We just drag that up to the top here. We can bring our save form into the first thing that we want to do. Close form is going to remain here. And then inside that save form, we're going to, first of all, update the item, which is this one. So we can drag that in. We want to update within the current site the security incidents for the current list item ID. And what we're looking at doing is setting the title. So the title is going to be INC hyphen ID, like this. And notice with that, you can always go through and test it. So once you've got a SharePoint list item generated, you'll be able to test that logic and make sure that it's resolving as you want it to. So we're just setting that title for now. We can also set things like the status to new if we need to, and anything else, of course, that we want to go through and apply. Things like who it is reported by and things like that we can also do. We're then going to do another save, and then we're going to generate a Word document. And I've already shown you how the Word document got created. So what I can do is just simply, well, either upload that, or I can actually browse for it as well. So notice how we've got site assets and so on. This could form part of that site assets, or we report. And I'm just going to re-upload that one. And notice in here we can specify that it's for a single item. We want it to go into this document library. Again, the item ID is the current one. And rather than open it, we save it to a library. The library's documents, folder's title, and the file name is going to be incident, I think it was, hyphen title.docx. Okay, so that will hopefully generate that document for us. And then we have the create folders. So this is how we create a new folder. So again, we can set that within inside the current site, within inside the current document library. The folder could be, I'm just going to put report because I can't remember what the other ones were. Yeah, the content type will be folder. And what we can do is actually make that a subfolder as such. Okay, so these are the things going on behind the scenes. Just pop that up there. And then finally, we want to show a message. So with the message, we can show a message here if it's successful, and we can show a message if it's unsuccessful. So our successful message will just render for a few seconds. And we're going to put successfully submitted. And we'll just put failed in this one. And display that for a few seconds. Okay, so that's our action created. And we could also change the name of that as well. So if we go and edit, we'll see, change that to save and submit. So we now have a save and submit button rather than just a save button. Okay, with regards to the layout, you'll notice in here you can configure each row. We can also add different sections as well, and we can get into the styling for those sections. So once I've added a new row, that row is here and available. We can go in and add a style to it. We can make it a conditional style. And what I'm going to do is just come down here to the row background color, and we'll just choose something from the current theme that is subtle, and go through and apply that. And then we get to add things like rich text. And inside there, we're just going to put security incident. And we're going to, of course, format that as such. And we had that supporting text as well, which I'm sure you don't want to sit there and watch me type, but we could add some instruction on how to fill out the form if need be. Now, everything else is in a one-column format. So what I'm going to do is just add a new section, so a one-column section, and then we're going to add another one-column section. And this allows me to drag and drop the fields around. We can change our mind afterwards to 2 columns. This is where we can add things like the process steps as well. So as we come down here, we can select our process steps. This can be applied to any of the lookup columns within inside our list. So we're going to link that to status, and we can choose any one of these designs, and you can customize those designs using the styling as well if you need to. So that's how we can get that. And then we're going to add some tabs. So as we add the tab, this is our first one. So we're just going to put details, and just in the instance of time, I'm just going to go with a standard one. We'll choose the layout, and notice in here we can now start to position the fields where we want those to appear. So just simply dragging them and dropping them onto our form. And we could put description, since that needs a bit more space. We can go and add that in its own tab. And this is where we also had things like where the data was involved and so on. And the layout's not exactly as it was where I showed you, but nevertheless, you can see how we can go through and build this. So let's just create a severity. And we'll change this one to maybe 3 columns. And this is again where we can go through and just simply drag these where we want those to appear. Okay, and our final summary is also going to be a field that will be on its own there. So there's the tabs creating more logic and layout to the forms. We do have our evidence that we need to create. So in here we can add yet another new tab. If we don't have space, we could add it down here. So what I'm going to do is just, in fact, it has given it to me. Sorry, let's just remove that. Let's call that evidence. And in here we can add the sublist. So as I scroll down, notice how we've got the other lists and libraries supporting this SharePoint site. So out of that, we have the department directory. We've also got the document library. We've got the new evidence items, which is the one that we're after. So as I select that, it embeds the list. And in order to relate the one-to-many, we use a lookup column. So notice how there's a lookup to security incidents. If you don't have a lookup column, you can generate one from here. That will create it for you, give the ability to name it and so on. And you've also got that cascade delete option as well. You can also customize whether you have a new button, which forms are available, whether you're going to allow edit and delete, that sort of thing, and also a search with inside that sublist. So with all of those selected, that new evidence item is now showing. Okay, so that's how we can create the form. So as we now choose the save, what you notice is as we go into our form, and let's just do a hard refresh, add new item, and yeah, looks a bit small. So what we're going to do is just jump back here into the incident reporting. Let's just go into the form settings, make that large, and once again hit save, do a hard refresh, and now we've got a much bigger form. It's got the incident title, we've got the tabs as we created, and so on. So very easy to build. And let's just create a test. So that should be fine. I'm just going to try save and submit, and fingers crossed on my logic. Oh, it's failed. Never mind. There'll be something in there that is probably easily fixed, I'm sure, but there we go. one of the benefits is being able to import from your custom design. We still have a working edit form, which is the key thing. So we can go through and use that one as needed. All right, so that's how we can build out the initial solution. I want to bring your attention to this one, the things in the background, because what we're also doing is sending some automated emails as things occur as well. So if I jump here into my email, this was the new security incident that was being reported. But what we've also got is unresolved incidents. So every day I get that notification to go through and check the incidents and make sure that they're being resolved. So how that's being done is actually through a scheduled action. So as we go here, notice how I've got a daily digest of open incidents. And when we click into that, we've got the title, we've got the description, the filter here is just looking for any anything where the status field does not equal by value closed. So anything that is in triage, is being investigated, is being contained, etc., will be notified about through an email, and we can force run that as well if need be. So that's our filter. The schedule runs every day at 9 a.m. So we get that, and then the actions here sends an email to me. The fact that I have unresolved incidents, and yeah, it's just giving me that notification. Of course, we can add more to that email if we want to. And just to bring your attention, you have more actions available to you when you're using scheduled actions than when you're using the form actions, such as the buttons or the form load actions. So in here, you've also got the ability to do things like manipulate permission inheritance. You can add permissions. You can create other list items, which is where we could create tasks and so on. You can generate QR codes. We can start a Power Automate if we want to, or an Azure function, manipulate sharing. You've also got creating groups, creating planner tasks, creating teams notifications, etc. So there's lots of different actions that you can perform using those available actions in here. And you also get the history log, so you can come back and see when it was successful, when it wasn't successful, if there was an issue with it, etc. So that's the history. When we go back to triggered actions, notice we've got an item updated. So in here we can, if somebody came in and changed their security incident report, we can capture the fact that it was updated. And the action in here is sending out a Teams notification. It doesn't have to be an email. If you want to bring Teams into play, you can send a Teams notification out as well. One thing that I skipped over was columns. So under columns, this gives you the ability to create back-end calculations. So of course, with inside a SharePoint column, if we just go into any of the columns in here, and just bring up the properties. These are the sort of standard calculations that you can do in any SharePoint list out of the box. But when we go to our backend calculation, notice that there's things that you can do in the back end. So when we've got that sort of one-to-many type join with our sublists embedded in the form, we might want to know a value that's got the highest value inside of those items. So if we wanted to know something with the biggest risk score, for example, we can actually have Form Studio iterate through those sublist items and report on the highest number that is a risk, or we can count the number of items inside those sublists, etc. And it's not just any of those default ones. You can actually get in and build out your own expression if need be. So you've got that calculated expression that you can determine yourself through there. And to help you, you've got lots of different things you can get, return query lists and so on, and perform a function from within those. Okay, so covered quite a bit with regards to the form itself and to the different actions and so on. Just also, we're going to jump into the view, so the all items view. And what you'll notice in here is when I select certain items, I've got a mark as resolved button. And this is actually created through list actions. So you can apply a series of actions to multiple selected items by going into list actions. And in here, you can see the markers resolved. So as we go through and configure the actions here, what we're doing is just updating the current ID, and we're setting the status to be resolved, and then we're reloading the view. So it's a quick way to update in bulk rather than go in and out of every single form individually. So we can go through and apply that. And of course, you can add views, you can add formatting to your views, everything that you would expect to be able to do. Beyond that, we've also got things like pages. So as we go into the page, you can see how we've also added this, which is also actions. So when we look at Lightning Tools actions in here, it returns this, and it's another place where you can add action buttons. So in there, we've got report a security incident, go to configure actions. It's just basically opening the security incident form in a panel in the large orientation, and that allows us to, of course, get there quickly. And it's not just a hyperlink, we're actually controlling how the form is displayed using that action. And we've also got things like review incidents and things like that as well. And this too can be styled in different ways depending on how you want that to look and feel. Other assets can be images or files that are supporting this. We've got permissions, so you can create groups that you may require, language settings, so it will deploy the language packs for you, things like the logo, the navigation, so things that you want on the navigation, and then finally that new feature of also being able to package the SharePoint agents. So if you're using Copilot and you've got a SharePoint agent inside your site, and you've configured that to look at the document library, perhaps the security incident folders, you can package that and deploy that as well with your solution. Okay, so once all of that's done, we jump into package. You can see the couple of packages I've already created. So in here we have this one. We can see where it's been deployed and so on. And sorry, that's just frozen on me. Let's just refresh. And so what we're going to do just while that refreshes is we're going to deploy here. So just to show you, currently under site contents, there's just the generic SharePoint lists. So I'm just going to take that site URL because we'll need that, and we'll again hit package. So like I said, I've already created a package. So what we're going to do is just deploy this package. And rather than deploy here, we're going to create a new deployment. We'll call it security incident, and the SharePoint site where we're going to deploy it to is here. Okay, and we're going to confirm we've read everything. We can start the verification. This is going to make sure that the package and deployment will work successfully. Okay, and when we're ready, notice how you've got a force overwrite if you want to as well, but we can basically say next, start deployment. And that will deploy the entire solution. So the SharePoint lists, the custom forms, the list views, the list actions, buttons. It's going to take any permissions across the SharePoint AI agent, and anything else that we specified, such as images and supporting files and so on, will be deployed to that destination. And that gives us the full capabilities of application rollbacks, etc. If you want to be able to update a solution and push out your updates, you can do all of that centrally rather than going in and making changes to a live solution. All right, so that might just take a moment. So what I'm going to do at this stage is just check if there's been any questions. I'm not seeing any. I apologize if there was issues in the audio, because I am seeing a few things to say. I'm going loud and quiet and so on. Unfortunately, not a great deal I can troubleshoot while I'm demoing. So hopefully you've been able to catch what I have said, and hopefully the recording will be okay. But yeah, I don't see any questions currently. But if you do have any questions, feel free to drop those into the Q&A panel, and we'll do our best to answer. Again, just whilst this is deploying, I do just want to point out some action points that you may have. So if you want to know a little bit more, or you want to see a proof of concept around a solution that you need to build, of course, this could be separate from a security incident type tool, then you can book a demo with me. You can do that via our website. Just go to lightningtools.com, hit book a demo. You also have the ability to start using this, and let me show you how you can do that. So when you go into Lightning Tools, under products, if you go into the Form Studio in here, this is where you can book a live demo, or you've also got the 30-day free trial. Now, how that 30-day free trial works, there isn't actually anything to download. You can just click onto that. It's going to take you into the Solution Studio. You can see all the other solutions I've been building, by the way. So this is the one that we've just been working on, the incident reporting, but notice how I've also got goal tracking and staff onboarding and travel request solutions, purchase requisition forms, etc. So any one of these we can go through and customize. I can share them with other people so they can work on them, and so on as well, or just simply generate a new solution from in here. What this will do for you, if you do this, once you authenticate with your tenant, it's going to allow you as one user to build out solutions and test those solutions and so on. There isn't actually a time bomb. That's a generic slide with the 30 days on it, so you can just build out your solution as necessary. It just means that other people won't be able to use it. So if you do decide to go ahead, buy a license, that of course opens it up to other people using that solution as well. Okay, but yeah, from here, this is where we can also get into other solutions. You'll notice that there's a contract management solution and things like that we can go in and edit. So we just simply hit that pencil icon, takes us into the design, and we can work on that and deploy it again to a different site if anybody needs that type of solution. So that's still deploying. Let's just have a quick sneaky look and see what's going on here. Yeah, we can see that it's generated the lists for me. It's got the apps for SharePoint in there. If we maybe just navigate into security incidents, may not have completed, but we'll try add new item. Sure enough, we can see our custom form all working just fine. And we've got that working solution that we've now gone through and deployed elsewhere. It did actually just finish. That must have been great timing, I think. So, all right. So yeah, hopefully you found that useful. There is actually just one thing that I didn't do that I was intending to do. That was to go through and look at the lookup column. So just want to show you that lookup column because it's a very neat feature of the Lightning Tools Form Studio. You also have it in Lightning Forms as well. And that just gives you a lot more power when you're looking up from different columns. So you'll notice the department is very basic at the moment. If I go into the properties of this, we can make it an enhanced lookup, which is available only to Lightning Forms and Lightning Tools Form Studio. We can choose the columns. So this is where we can have a multi-column layout. And we've got a search column, so you can actually search it as well if if you want to. You can also apply a lookup filter, which makes it kind of cascading. And now when we okay that, you'll notice in the drop down, yeah, in a minute, we should have multiple filters. We've also got the remove duplicate items as well. I think maybe I need to save that, test it. Live. So as we go in here, let's try department. Yeah, sure enough. So there's the drop down with multiple columns, and notice how we can search as well. So things you just can't do with the out of the box forms. All right. So I still don't see any questions. So hopefully you were able to hear me. And yeah, just want to thank you for coming, and reminder that next month we do have another webinar, which is going to be on legacy form migration. So very much related to this, we're going to look at how you can migrate your retiring soon InfoPath forms, so you can bring across the form design and the data. So if you've collected XML files inside of a form library, we'll be able to also bring those across. Even if you've got 10,000 form instances, we'll be able to migrate those to use the new solution, which could be built using Power Apps or using Lightning Forms or Lightning Tools Form Studio. So thank you again. Hope you enjoyed this webinar today, and look forward to seeing you next month. All right, take care. Bye for now.